but I just wanted to make sure with you, so I'm accepting the resignation.
It's not fishy all the way.
And I'm understanding this.
Good evening. This regular meeting of the Judson Board of Trustees is hereby called to order at 7 p.m. Let's take roll call. Mr. Macias?
Present.
Mr. LaFoyle?
Here.
Mr. Merle? Ms. Adair?
Present.
Mr. Flores?
Present.
And Mr. Salinas will not be with us tonight. I'm Steve Salyer, and I'm present. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll please rise for the presentation of the callers. Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to introduce our new superintendent, Mr. Carl Montoya. Dr. Carl Montoya. It's his first meeting in a full regular meeting. Welcome, Dr. Montoya.
Thank you very much.
It was on my list.
I'd like to introduce to you our pledge leader for tonight, Brooklyn Ellis. She's a fifth grader from Converse Elementary School. Brooklyn is a captain of the Safety Patrol, a member of the robotics team, vice president of the National Elementary Honor Society, a member of the Elementary District Honor Choir, and a representative for Student Council at Converse Elementary School. Let's join Brooklyn in the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flags.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Oath. Ready, F. Ready, go. Ready, green. Ready, A. Please and arms. Order, arms. And A. Oath. And ace. Right, ace. Or, arch, right, O, right, or, right, O, right, or.
And let's give Brooklyn a hand for a nice job. I'd also like to recognize her parent in the audience, Natalia Ellis.
Let us bow. Our Heavenly Father, we come to Thee as humbly as we know how. Father God, thanking You for all the wonderful blessings that You have given us throughout this day in our lives. We ask You to bless this board as we make decisions tonight, Father. We ask You that we may do it sincerely and from the heart, realizing that all decisions are truly student-based and what's the best thing for the students. Father, we ask You to guide the parents and the community, and especially the teachers, as they teach our kids what they need to know to be successful in life. Father, we ask You to bless them and everyone. In Your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
If the Board of Trustees would like to come down and meet Brooklyn and take a photo.
Parents would like to stand up and make a picture. We're going to take a picture of her. Right? Perfect. Everybody gather, please. And smile, everybody. Smile, all of it. Thank you so much. Good job.
We'd also like to recognize our color guard tonight, Judson High School Junior ROTC Cadet Major Abigail Gritton, Cadet Staff Sergeant Jalea Tab, Cadet Airman Adriana Rodriguez, and Cadet Airman First Class Trinity Gonzalez. Our first board recognition comes from Coronado Village Elementary School. This school has distinguished itself in the STEM world of robotics. In February, this team cleaned up at the Alamo Region First LEGO League Qualifier Tournament at Rolling Meadows Elementary, taking first place and earned the highest scores possible for robot games, performance, and design. They then went to the Alamo Regional Tournament downtown and won second place in robotic games and were awarded the trophy for strategy and innovation against 61 other teams from across South Texas. Keep in mind, this is one of the biggest contests in the nation, and they were competing against many students who were much older. Let's congratulate Coronado Village Torobots team made up of Talina Cheney Lopez, Alex Estrada, Charles C.J. Castillo, Viviana Garza, Bryken Dilworth, Brad Malden, Robert R.J. Martinez, Leah Anderson, Caitlin Duran, Deshaun Robinson, Mark Shepard. I'd also like to ask the following to stand where they are, the Torobots coaches. Now, many of you know of the 80s band Duran Duran. This is the Duran Duran, Javier and Cindy Duran. Their mentors, Erica Garza of Rolling Meadows, Robert Malden of Park Village, and Charles Castillo of Metzger. Thanks also go out to Bonnie Anderson and Principal Cynthia Davis of Coronado Village, Luz Ramirez, our district bilingual coordinator. Congratulations to all the students.
Hold up your robots and the trophies, please. Thank you. And smile and hold it. Thank you so much.
We'd also like to thank our parents who drove them to all of these great contests as well, so please give them a hand. Thank you very much. Our next recognition comes from Wagner High School. For the second straight year, this student is the UIL Girls State Wrestling Champion, so I wouldn't want to mess with her in a dark alley. Dominating this season to a 37-0 record. Please congratulate Wagner Senior Julie Mata. She says the competition was noticeably tougher this year, but at a 37-0 record, she was better. Julie dispatched with her Corpus Christi King opponent by pin with 39 seconds left in the gold medal round. Last year, Julie only lost once on her way to the first state title. She's currently ranked as the #1 high school girl wrestler in the country. Congratulations also to our Wagner wrestling coach, Benjamin Lenyard, outstanding girls wrestling coach for 2015 Region 4, District 15, 6A, and Melissa Palomo. Oh, okay. Okay, we got one more. This is an exciting one, so get ready. Our final recognition comes from the Judson ISD Communications Department. Each year, those who work in the communications and public information departments of school districts gather for what's called the Texas School Public Relations Association Conference. At the conference-ending event called the Star Awards, the Judson ISD Communications Department won a Silver Star Award for the gala. It was our thank you to sponsors video project. This project was produced and shot and edited by David Rhodes, our district multimedia specialist, and Yvette Reyna. That's me, Executive Director of the Judson Education Foundation. So we could either do a selfie because he does take photos for us, but actually Ms. Perez, our board secretary, is going to help us out.
Let's get it together. Right in here.
Thank you very much. That's all our recognitions for the evening. Okay.
Again, thank you for coming. Dr. Matoy, we got it backwards tonight. Dr. Matoy, would you introduce your cabinet, please?
Okay, and beginning to my right here, Miss Elida Beva, who helps us with secondary education areas. Nancy Robinson, Associate Superintendent, covers all the curriculum instruction areas. And then to my left here, Mr. Milton Fields, who is key in our facilities and operations. And Miss Irma Hernandez, Executive Director of Human Services, and our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Jose Elizondo.
Thank you. I'm very pleased that you have taken time to join us this evening. As the Judson Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals and policies and oversee the management of the district. We are responsible for approving budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and to listen to reports from the superintendent. We are not here to make administrative or management decisions pertaining to the daily operation of the district. This is the responsibility of the superintendent. In compliance with the State Government Code of Open Meetings, tonight's agenda has been appropriately posted. This is a meeting in the public, not of the public. As our guests, you are welcome to observe and listen. These proceedings are being video and audio recorded and will become part of the Judson's permanent legal record. In order that the tape adequately reflects these proceedings, please silence your mobile phones and refrain from talking while others are speaking. Since it is legally mandated that these procedures are recorded accurately, I may have to ask periodically should I notice disruptions are interfering with our recording capabilities. Thank you for your interest in Judson ISD. Thank you. I think we have Mayor Al Suarez here. Thank you for coming. Is that any other public officials? Renee Pershaw. Here's Renee Pershaw, Converse City Council. Thank you. We'll go to citizens to be heard. Renee Pershaw, B5, general comments. Ms. Pershaw.
Thank you, Mr. Sawyer. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to say kudos to the board. I've noticed in the board meetings that I've been attending now that the comportment of the board is a lot better than I had seen before, so kudos to you for that. I do have some major concerns, specifically item number 5B on the agenda. I want to question the discussion the item for discussion. I'm looking forward to listening to the explanation and the reason for creating another department which seems to duplicate the work that Mr. Elizondo already does. I haven't heard of any problems at all in any of the departments. Mr. Elizondo does do audits of all the departments, and then he, in turn, is audited by the state, and then the feds audit the state, so I don't understand. I'll be listening very clearly to that. It sounds as if that there is a solution that's being created for a problem that has not yet been identified. Are we building another bridge to nowhere? Secondly, are the taxpayers aware of what it's costing them, the district, to pay for 2 superintendents, an outgoing and incoming? I know that it is common for school districts to hire an incoming superintendent when an outgoing is retiring, but not 4 months in advance. Are you counting on the community not challenging you? And I'd like to ask, where's the fiscal responsibility in this? And thirdly, Trustee Adair, I'd like to ask you, I know you can't answer, but what have you, in your many years of experience on this board, taught you about leadership? What examples of leadership are you demonstrating? You see, to me, a leader takes stock of themselves. They create unity, not discord. They create unity, not unnecessary divide. A good leader sets themselves apart from unlawfulness, and clearly, you and I have different definitions of leadership. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Rochelle. Okay, Ms. Della Finch. Ms. Finch, project graduation. I owe you some money. I know you will.
Good evening, Board. This is my co-chair, Mari, who is joining me this year with Project Graduation. I'm just here to remind you all about the wonderful Project Graduation that I've been running now for about 9 years. It is held automatically after graduation, and this year we were trying to host it at Main Event, so I'm trying to raise a lot of money. So I do appreciate all the support that the school district has given and supported all the venues that I've done, especially Mr. Hernandez for helping us out so much and having staff members available for everything. We just had a spring jamboree, which was a success, even though it rained. We made a little bit of money, so that was great. But I'm coming to invite you to Thursday, April 2nd. The kids have decided to take Mr. H to the wall. So if you all would like to come and take him to the wall, please come out for a small nominal fee and see if we can let him hang on there, and then we'll see how we get him down from the wall. We haven't decided that yet. Also, we will be having a car wash on the 4th of April on a Saturday here on Pat Booker. So I'm just out here to come and invite you all to continue the support that you've given us all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Finch. Okay, let's move on. Item 4, consideration of consent items. Just say pull if you want it pulled. 4A, consider take action regarding approving board minutes for regular board meeting held on February 18, 2015. Consider and take 4B, consider and take action regarding approving board minutes for special board meeting held on February 25th, March 3rd, and March 17th, 2015. Item 4C, consider and take action regarding approving amendment of superintendent contract. 4D, consider and take action regarding approving monthly financial information as of February 28, 2015. 4E, consider and take action regarding approving of expenditures equal to or greater than $50,000. 4F, consider and take action regarding approving budget transfers across functions. 4G, consider and take action regarding approving ranking for test and balance engineering services for the new high school on Evans Road. 4H, consider and take action regarding approving request for proposal 15-10 for copier and printer hardware service with usage tracking software. 4I, consider and take action regarding approving an early release waiver. 4J, consider and take action regarding approving the instructional materials allotment and TEAC certification for the 2015-16 school year. 4K, consider and take action approving update BDB local board internal organization internal committee second reading. 4L has been pulled. 4M, consider and take action regarding approving update to FFAC local wellness and health services medical treatment second reading. Have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Mr. Macias, second by Mr. LaFoil. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
All items except for.
All items except, well, one was pulled, H, 4H. All items except 4H. Aye? Okay, good. Okay, 4H, consider and take action regarding approving request for proposal 15-10 for copier and printer hardware and services with usage tracking software.
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Adair, second by Mr. LaFoil. Ms. Adair.
Dr. Montoya, if we could get a little explanation on page 59, I'm just not clear the difference in cost.
Okay, Mr. Salyer, members of the board, Ms. Adair, and you're asking specifically on that item. I think, Mr. Elizondo, you did some research there, and if you would please share that information.
Yes, sir, Dr. Montoya. This particular item is for copier services for the school district. I'm going to ask Mr. Ashmore, our Director of Purchasing, who was the one involved in this item, to please discuss this with you in detail.
Ms. Adair, what was your question exactly? I don't have the same page number, and so I'm not sure which.
The memo.
Page 2 of your memo.
Okay, about the cost piece. So whenever we're looking at this cost structure, we have the cost of copiers and the cost of printers. So what we currently spend right now versus what our new contract will cost, we estimate those savings will be experienced in that time period. So that's $144,000 a year that we believe we'll save through implementing this new solution.
And which vendor are you recommending?
At this time, we're recommending ImageNet Consulting as a service provider, and their equipment package would be by Canon.
So, I'm sorry, I've got to turn my mic on. So my question more specifically would be, one has 587,611, the other one is 535,140, and there's 1.1 difference. Can you?
Yes, ma'am, it was close. If you read the rest of the memo, you can see that there was a quite extensive evaluation that took place. And I'll tell you, it started about a year ago whenever we started developing what our solution would look like. So whenever we went out, we were looking not only at copiers, but we were looking at how printers were maintained and how they were supplied, along with some software pieces to kind of help us address some technological needs in the future, such as mobile print, secure printing, so that we don't have a lot of loose things laying around. We felt like this company offers the best solution. We know that it is not the lowest price out there, but we feel like we're still sharpening the tool a little bit from what we're doing right now. We're saving some money, which is, I think, pretty phenomenal considering the economic conditions in the last 7 years since our current contract was implemented. So even though it's not the lowest price, we do feel like it's the best value because it meets the needs of the district, not only today, but we feel like in the next 5 years, as technology improves, that we're going to be able to face that head on and be equipped to deal with it.
How long a contract is this for?
5 years.
Mr. Macias.
I was waiting for you to ask more questions about the 5 years, because that's where I'm starting from. The 5 year, is that an average time frame for us to have a contract for copier service?
That is typical. Our current contract that we have has gone longer than that. We extended for a little bit more time, thought we could get some more life out of the equipment, but 5 years is very typical
Okay, so
for a
it's
school district.
For a school district. And so our previous one was 5 years, or?
Originally, yes, sir.
And so, Okay, if that's a commonality, then that's okay, but that did obviously pique my attention as well. Thank you.
Mr. Flores?
Thank you. I have concerns on the 5 years also, because I know that our machines were, we ran them into the ground, and I'm wondering, in this agreement, what is the, if the machine starts malfunctioning, are they going to replace it? Are they going to just come back and patch it up as we go along? Because really, when you get this kind of usage over 3 years, of the schools and everything, I mean, they're getting a lot of usage.
Yes,
and
sir.
then they start breaking, there's little pieces that just start going bad. I'm with the city of San Antonio, and we do them like every 3 years, I mean, we're looking now to go for a new one, and sometimes it gets to the point where they just start, after the 4th year and 5th year, they're just patching them up, and then they break down again. I'm sure teachers and
I believe we're
administrators-
experiencing that now in our 7th year.
Right.
So I think that part of it is the type of equipment and the volume band that it's designed to run. So whenever we put a piece of equipment in a teacher workroom, we know that we're going to run a lot of copies on it. So we put a very robust engine in that room. And so it's not like a 25-page per minute copier that you would find in an office environment somewhere. It's designed for that.
Do we have an out on this contract if,
What we have is we have a performance bond that will be put in place for guaranteed performance reliability, and if the vendor does not meet that, then they'll end up being penalized for not performing in accordance with their contract. What the plan is if a machine were to break, they're supposed to give us a guaranteed 4-hour response time. If they're not able to repair that piece of equipment on site and bring it back up online, then they'll provide a replacement piece of gear until that one is repaired and then brought back into service. So there'll be a spare that's available for them to bring in. They actually have a supply facility that's located right here at Interstate 35 and 1604, right in that vicinity. So it's right smack dab in our neighborhood so that we can easily have them replace gear as it becomes necessary.
okay, thank you.
Mr. LaFoille?
I got the same concerns that Gilbert has. The thing is, every school I ever went to, they'd say to me, when are you going to get rid of these pieces of junk you got for copiers? Now, this is going on for about the 3rd or 4th year they've been telling me this. And I kept telling them, they're going to replace them, they're going to replace them. And then at the end, I think they thought I was lying to them, because those machines were garbage.
Yes, sir, and I do agree with you that the machines need to be replaced, and I'm not sure that it was the highest quality equipment that was put in to begin with, but that's a whole nother story. I do want to mention, Mr. Young whispered in my ear, and I'll share with you what he had to say.
Oh, boy!
As part of our fact-finding in this, and as part of the proposed solution, we came to the realization that the numbers that we were using on our equipment allocation was not adequate to meet the needs that are out there. So we're going to change our formula for how we decide how much equipment goes to each location, and we're going to decrease the number of students per copier. So that means that we're going to put more gear out there, so there's going to be more opportunity for teachers to make more copies. I say that, but it also gives us some redundancy. So in case we do run the wheels off of this one, there's one sitting next to it. So I'm pretty confident that with the machines that we've chosen, that the reputation that the brand has, the guaranteed service performance that we're getting from the vendor, I feel pretty confident that we're not going to be having this problem. And honestly, I don't think we'll be, talking about these kind of things 5 years from now.
Well, before they run out, I'll be off the board, so I don't worry.
Ms. Adair?
Mr. Ashmore, one more question. I'm sorry you don't have the same page numbers. I'm on page 62, the last page of your tabulation summary after you'd evaluated all the rest of them and then came down to those last two.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm still a little bit concerned when I look at, it says copier MFD, Dayhill 399,036, and ImageNet 460,687. And I know you said Canon. We won't talk about which brand I like, but when we buy supplies and et cetera, is Canon supplies less? What was the brand that Dayhill? I mean, there's still a big jump, because then when I go to what you were mentioning, the tracking software, ImageNet was cheaper in that, but when you rated the reputation of vendor and vendor goods, that was where that's actually 2 points difference. I want him to tell me how he came with them points.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about the evaluation process.
Okay.
And I won't go back to the very beginning, but suffice it to say, we advertised and all that kind of good stuff. We had several submittals that were received. We went through and did a paper review, looking at what are they proposing to us, what is the quality of the gear, what kind of districts are they currently doing business in, do they have a proven history of being able to provide that service. We dismissed or carried forward several vendors to the next round. And then we started telephone interviews, we started reference checking, and it just so happens that there was a conference that I was able to go to and kind of pick the brains of some current customers, even the ones that they didn't list on their references, and so for both companies. So that gave us a strong indication of what kind of service we can expect down the road whenever you're talking to their current customers. The other thing that we looked at really thoroughly was all parts of the solution. So the copier equipment, the fleet maintenance on the desktop printers, along with the software. And the software is critical because that's what's going to allow us mobile print, secure printing, badge access, charge back to the appropriate department, but also to give principals the ability to set a budget for an individual person and charge them for each time that they take down a click or that they run a copy. And whether that's on a printer or whether it's on a copier, and it'll charge them appropriately based on the cost of that device. So whenever we looked at how these things actually perform and interact together, the bottom line is we just came out feeling much stronger with the ImageNet approach. And I will tell you that the Dayhill equipment you were asking about is Xerox, so it's a recognized brand as well. And so anyway, we felt really good about the reports that we got from current customers with ImageNet, and we felt really good at looking at the equipment and the software solution. And then the last thing that we did for the last 2 days, we've had 16 one-hour sessions that all employees were notified and invited to attend, to where we had the vendor come, bring a copier, set it up in our environment on our network, establish a trial version of the software in our environment so we could see that it actually worked and that we didn't have conflicts. And then we gave a brief demonstration and an overview of the solution. And so I think that we had, I think in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 people, which is not great, but we definitely made the opportunity available for them. All of them had stellar things to say about this. They really liked the equipment. They liked some of the software pieces. The administrators that popped in and sat through the session were really excited about the ability to manage their budgets properly, as opposed to, and whenever I say properly, I mean to manage the budget before the expenditure occurs as opposed to managing it after the expenditure occurs. So we're very excited to be able to bring that tool to bear. We just think that this is going to be the best solution to be able to do that. And like I say, not only today, but as technology is evolving, I think that we're going to be in a very good position to launch into whatever the next new thing is that's coming along.
All right, famous last words.
Yes,
We're going
ma'am.
to trust you on this.
Mr. LaFoyle.
No,
I mean, it's
please.
Mr. Flores, I'm sorry. Look alike.
We print up a lot of work, I mean, we make copies of a lot of things. Teachers, maybe toward the end of the year or around testing, they start making volumes of copies. Are we going out to print, to a print shop, to printing stuff instead of, hitting the clicks?
We have a mix of where that work is completed. Based on our study, as we ramped up for this RFP to be issued, one of the things that we found is that we're spending a fairly large amount of money per year outsourcing. So what we looked at is we looked at what's being made on a copier, what's being done on a black and white printer, what's being done on a color printer, and then what's being outsourced to third parties. And so what we found is, the number comes up to about $120,000 a year that we're outsourcing. Now, some of that it does happen because it's a bulk of material, such as internal testing or something like that. A lot of it is specialty things that maybe we don't have the equipment to do in the district. For instance, graduation programs, announcements, things like that. So there's quite a wide variety, but we did take a look at what we're outsourcing and what we can possibly pull in. So there's some talk of possibly implementing some color along with this in the way of high volume printing. And I say high volume, I don't mean like hundreds of pages per minute, but something like that to maybe pull some of that back in.
Okay, one more. The maintenance, that comes with these for the 5 years, that's a full 5 years?
Yes, sir. So that's, so the equipment would be leased. The service is included as part of this cost. All supplies are included as part of this cost. And the supplies would even be on auto fulfillment, so they would monitor all of the equipment through our network and then automatically ship supplies. Currently, we actually store a lot of supplies, have a lot of inventory that we carry, and a lot of risk that goes along with that. Plus, there's a lot of time for secretaries to identify, okay, which printer takes which cartridge and those kind of complexities. So we're hoping to simplify the entire process from stem to stern.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Macias, you were going to vote.
Was this the same company that had our business prior, or the brand-new
sir.
company?
No, sir, it is a new company to us.
And since I do hear a few of my colleagues mention the 5 years as a pretty extensive amount of time, and it looks like you did a thorough job. I mean, it looks really good. I'm wondering, do we have the ability to go back and say we'd like maybe 3 years with two options to renew over fourth year and fifth year, or are we locked into this 5-year proposal?
This is the way that the RFP was built. I mean, we could obviously go back and do some reevaluation on that, but I have some experience in this in previous districts, and I can tell you that most of that is the cost of the equipment itself. So whether we have a 5-year contract or a 1-year contract, they're going to make us pay for that equipment. And so that means that our cost rate is just going to be higher per click for a 3-year period than it would be for a 5-year period. So that's why we went after a service commitment that was backed up by a performance bond that would force the vendor to provide the service that they've promised and to force them to perform.
Okay, and so you are saying that we're going to realize $144,000 in reduction of expenses every year
Yes,
for
sir.
the 5 years? Okay. All right, thank you.
Now, that's granted that if everything else remains equal, if we increase the amount of copies that we're making, obviously that cost, that changes.
Okay, let's vote on item 4H. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Section 5, discussion, consideration of action items. 5A, consider and take possible action regarding approving the addendum to the elementary class size exception report for 2014-2015.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Dare, second, Mr. LaFoille. Discussion. No discussion? No questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. 5B, consider and take possible action.
Mr. Celia, if I could suspend the rules on that one?
Yeah, let me read it first. 5B, consider and take possible action to allocate $250,000 to an internal audit department. Mr. Macias requests to suspend rules and just make this a discussion item, and I agreed, so Mr. Macias.
Well, thank you. Yes, wanted to have some discussion on it. I think as I looked at our schedule, it'll be appropriate to insert this in our budgetary discussion meetings before we bring it back, so that we can have a little more time to kind of look at different factors of the internal audit. But based on citizens to be heard, requesting sort of a rationale for it, in a nutshell, it's an efficiency. In fact, I'll read the objective that was handed to me. Internal audit provides an independent appraisal that evaluates the efficiency and effectiveness of a school district's operation, as well as compliance with rules, laws, regulations, policies, and procedures. So it's an independent assessment, and it kind of started a little bit when we had some issues with booster clubs and some investment of their funds. An internal audit function could probably even help with that aspect. But it's not just for funding, it's for efficiency processes. One of the things that I've been looking for is internal audit of our HR department, because there are functions involved that have nothing to do with money, but there's processes that may need to be improved. And so this independent assessment would actually help our HR team and help the administration. And just to put it on record, I want to make sure that no one misconstrues my intent. I think Mr. Elizon is doing a fine job, and so I'm very pleased with his work. The external audits are working well, and Jose has made sure that this district is operating efficiently. But internal audit doesn't just look at finances. It looks at so much more. And so that understanding needs to be very clear. But I did want to have an opportunity for Dr. Montoya to weigh in a little bit on his experiences with internal audits. There's some good, bad, and ugly with them. And I know that Dr. Montoya has had some extensive experience working with the internal audit function in his previous capacities. So Dr. Montoya, if you could explain a little bit of that.
Mr. Sellier, members of the board, just again, I'll share as a superintendent my perception of this particular item, at least right now. I think the intent of auditing is good. There's nothing wrong with that, as Mr. Macias said, to ensure efficiency and the process that districts use in their departments to ensure that it's a very positive thing. One of the things that I encountered, and I'll share it here because I did tell Mr. Macias that I needed to share it with the rest of the board. Our internal auditor in another location was directly under the board. And, while that sounds very admirable and very good, what happened in our case over a period of time is that certain board members, and this is laying it on the table and being as honest as I could, tended to ask the auditor to pursue certain avenues in terms of audits of certain schools, of certain departments, of certain areas. And so one of the cautions that I learned was that if we do develop an audit department for this district, if that comes in the future someday, the board has to make a definition of what is the purpose, who's going to technically be over it. Is it going to be all 7 board members? Do you assign one of your board members to monitor that? Because that became an issue over a period of several years, that several board members would call the auditor and ask for certain things to occur, and the rest of the board would not. So that became an issue. Another issue that arose is that our auditor sometimes would say, we have an area that may be criminal, and I'm going to go ahead and pursue the investigation. And we said, no, if it is criminal, we have to involve law enforcement. That's the purpose of law enforcement, whether it's our district ISD police or whether it's some other agency, whether it's a federal agency, a state agency. So there were a lot of confusions in that process. Plus, over a period of time, some of our administrators, and I think a lot of you remember the book years ago, 1984, Big Brother Looking Over Your Shoulder. There were some administrators, the morale was affected a little bit because they were wondering, what is the real purpose of this audit? Is it really to clear some things, some intentional things, or is it, and I'm going to say it here, personal? Is it something that evolved from that angle? So a lot of it, I think what I'm saying, the intent was good. The intent was good, but it's how it's set up and how it's managed is the issue. And, another piece for us was that we even had to hire outside people to check some things anyway. We had an internal auditor department, but at the same time, a few times we still had to go out anyway. So I guess what I'm saying, sharing those pieces, my perception, having been involved in dealing with an internal audit department, the intent was good. But again, in the future, if the board elects to follow that type of model, I caution the board that they need to define exactly what that means and how it's going to operate and who's going to manage it, not just say the board. What does that mean? So again, I just wanted to share those thoughts with you.
I appreciate that, Dr. Montoya. That's a lot of experience, and as I mentioned, there's good, bad, and ugly. Internal audit functions have failed in some districts, and as Dr. Montoya alluded, they've been used inappropriately or incorrectly. So naturally, having that perspective would mean that when we structure this department, that we actually put in appropriate safeguards to ensure it operates efficiently and appropriately. And I'm always looking at our colleagues up at Northeast ISD who have had this added function for 20 plus years, and they are utilizing it in a manner that it needs to be, where the board actually collectively works with the internal audit function to kind of assign areas of risk for exploration and evaluation. It's not a one single board member calling the department. And of course, the internal audit then works with our administration. And it works. I mean, it also works very well at Northside ISD. So some of our larger districts, and Judson is at that level, have to utilize these functions because there's just too much money on the table for us not to be looking at efficiencies and to ensure that we're doing things right. But as Dr. Montoya alluded to, if it's done inappropriately, if we hire a bad internal auditor, these things can really unravel, and what we'll have is really a very inefficient model. And just like we say here that we will not support retaliatory measures from our administration with employees, we don't want the same thing to happen with the board, picking on a department just because we're mad at it or something. That's ridiculous. But I certainly think that the professionalism of this board can actually identify areas that need to be evaluated. And so as we move forward, that experience will ensure that we really craft an internal audit department that I think is efficient.
Mr. LaFoyle.
This being about the 5th or 6th time this has hit the board, I haven't changed my thoughts on it since the beginning. So I made some calls to some of the people I know in West Texas. They had one of these. It lasted 6 months because we had board members on there going on witch hunts. Everybody knows what a witch hunt is. So the thing is, I can't support this again. Mr. Flores came up with a good idea. I'm going to let him if he wants to explain it to you. But the thing is, it's just something that doesn't set with me. It's too easy to go on witch hunts and something like this. And a lot of good people have been fired due to witch hunts. Thank you.
Mr. Flores.
Thank you. I also have had my views on this, and I did do, I checked districts from 18,000 students to 30,000 students. There's about 28 of them in Texas. And I called each one of them and I asked them, do you have an internal audit department? And only about 32% did, And some that did said, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you'll notice on tonight's agenda in item 4K, we have internal board organizations. And one of those is an internal audit committee made up of board members, 3 board members. That's a proposal. 3 board members, and before the budget comes up, we'll decide. This year we set up a schedule of what we want to audit. Because if you set up a department, yes, you're going to hire an internal auditor, but he's not going to have all the expertise. So he's going to be getting consultants. I mean, it just happens. He can't do everything. He can't know HR, he can't know child nutrition, he can't know everything. So he's going to have to bring in consultants. 250,000 will grow into about 400,000 before you know it. My proposal is that we have a committee and we say, okay, and this year we want to look at human resources and child nutrition. Okay, and we'll hire. We'll do an RFP. This is my proposal. Do an RFP, get somebody, get it in the budget, and go that way. And then next year, 16, 17, we want to look at a couple of other departments. And, until we get them done. Then we get a base. We'll have a base done. You can't get it all done at one time. And so that's basically where I'm coming from on this. Thank you.
Mr. Murrow.
Yes, in a way, I agree with Mr. Macias. Sometimes internal auditor is a good thing when you really need it. My thing is, does Judson really need it now? When we look at the proposal, we're looking at $250,000. I don't know if that's going to be a yearly budget or is that just starting right now. I was told a few months ago when I got on the board, it was $150,000, and we was going to hire an auditor and 1 support person. Now, if that's what we're going to do, you're talking about $250,000 for 2 people. I just can't go with that, because you're talking about $250,000 and you're going to hire an auditor and 1 support person. That's just too much money. There's a lot of stuff that we need in classrooms, and I know you hear the same thing all the time about classroom, and like I said, I agree with Mr. Maciel. Sometimes you do need an auditor. The last time the district had an audit done, what did we do with the results? Did we actually use it? Or did we just push it aside on the shelf? When I seen the item came on the agenda, I requested a job description. When I looked at the job description, it says they will report to the board. Okay, who is the day-to-day supervisor of this person? Nobody knows. Who is going to direct this person, what they're going to do and what they're not going to do? It says the board. I could be the board singly. If Mr. Celia tell the person go and do something, and I come back and I tell them to do something else, who are they going to obey? Who's going to do their performance rating? When it says the board. Who's going to supervise the day-to-day operations? I really don't think the job description is really ready. Until I get really more defined details, I just can't support it. And the amount that we asking for, I just can't go $250,000.
Thank you. Mr. Macias, one more time?
Sure. And that's why I pulled the item from an action item, because I do believe that we need to have a budgetary discussion on what may be an appropriate amount to allocate towards it. I do want to put on the record, though, that when we did have our initial risk assessment, the three things they pointed out were risk in areas of special ed, child nutrition, and HR. And in HR, we still saw an increase of the attrition rate. So by not doing a quick analysis back then, we lost more employees, and that's bona fide data that the TEA will recommend has happened. So we lost employees because we took no action. Where we did take some action was with child nutrition. We actually took some of the recommendations and adjusted them immediately to have a positive impact in those areas. So we did see a result from that risk assessment. Now, unfortunately, to my surprise, the board did not move forward to want to do more in areas of HR at that time, so we ended it after the risk assessment. But it is still my opinion that if we want to be a stellar district, that a mechanism like this will take us to that next level. In terms of the evaluation, we would evaluate the internal auditor much like we would the superintendent. And we've done that pretty well. So it's a collective breath. We are one entity as one board that does that evaluation. And that, as I alluded to earlier, some of the failures in internal audit is when you have one board member contacting and another board. It has to be, again, a uniform team approach, or you're going to have a catastrophic effect. So if the board collectively tells an internal audit function what they want to see, and they vote on it, they talk about it, then the duty and marching orders are created. That will alleviate your concern, which would be mine too. We don't want to have that type of thing. But certainly there is enough information out there to ensure that we do this right. And again, we'll debate this again. I won't belabor it any further, but it'll definitely come back on some future item. But certainly appreciate Dr. Montoya leveling in on his experience with that function.
Yes, I want to remind the board tonight on item 4K, page 72, it was a second reading, we actually established an internal audit committee. So I'll make some appointments, and I think that's a happy medium to start out. You know, and the way that'll work is the committee of three will come back and make recommendations to the entire board of what they believe we need auditing in, and we'll decide which is the best way to go forward. You know, hire TASB or an outside auditor or something. I think that'll keep costs down for things that we need to audit, and I think that'll be done by consensus of the board. So, thank you. Let's move on. Okay, we're going to change things around. I'm going to hold off on 5M until after we get 5C until after we go into closed session. Let's go to 6 discussion items, reports, superintendent report. Construction.
Okay, Mr. Salyer, members of the board, just very briefly here, Mr. Fields, if you'll share that piece on number 1.
Yes, sir. We have 3 projects currently. The Evans Road High School, I apologize. We have 3 projects, the Evans Road High School, Evans Road water main extension and the track over at Wagner High School. The Evans Road High School is about 43% complete. We started doing the brick masonry work in areas A and B. You can see from the pictures that we submitted that they're doing the bricks and stone in front of the school. They're also doing the exterior metal cladding. That's going to start next month on areas A, B, and C. And that they're doing roofing and decking as well. We're projected to end that project in May of 2016. Next is the water main extension that we're running from approximately where the Rolling Meadows Elementary School is all the way down to the new high school. They're working along Farm Road 2252, and they are having to hand dig in certain areas to keep from disrupting the optic line from the traffic stop. But they've gotten all the way down to the railroad area, and now they're trying to hand dig underneath the railroad to finish the line. And that should be completed, it's about at 57%, it should be completed mid-April or the end of April. And then the last is the track over at Wagner High School. They've already done the soil placements over there. They're starting to pour concrete barriers around the track as well, and they're projected to complete over there around mid-April or the end of April as well. Both of those two, the last two areas, have been affected by the weather over the last month due to the rain and them slowing down to do the soil samples, as well as TxDOT telling them that whenever they're working along that street, they ask them to stop if the streets are slick because they don't want cars sliding into the area.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You have a question, Mr. Foyle?
You know I got a question.
Yes, sir.
The track over to Wagner.
Yes, sir.
I know you just got connected with this thing, but this has been an ongoing thing for, what, a year and a half now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How are the kids doing on their football practice over their summer practice?
Well, I don't believe that the actual football practice on the field has started yet. I know it's coming up soon.
Yeah,
they
very
do
soon.
have a practice field that they can use right behind the football field.
You call it a field?
Well, it's not an established football field, sir, but it is a place where they practice all
Have they
through
picked up all the
school.
rocks over there yet?
I'm sorry?
There's rocks over there this
I would
big.
agree.
You
They've
know
moved some
that,
of the
being the
stuff. Yes,
principal
sir.
over there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. There's rocks over there, it's terrible.
Yes, sir.
They don't have a very even playing field on this practice field. Johnson's got a real nice one. Plus, they practice in the stadium on artificial turf.
Yes, sir.
This is not fair to our kids over to Wagner. We're going to have to talk about this at another meeting.
Mr. Murrow?
Yes, Mr. Fields, I know some time ago the board allocated some funds to look into getting drawings on a pool
Yes, sir.
over to the Evans Road. Can you give us an update of where?
It's done.
Oh, it's done?
Yes, sir. We've contacted an engineering firm to put together some blueprints, and it was $75,000.
Okay.
We've already started on that.
Okay, I just wanted to know where it was. That's
No, all
all.
they're doing is establishing the blueprints.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Mr. Dare? I'm sorry, Mr. Dare?
Thank you. My question has to do with the new school.
Yes, ma'am.
At the next board meeting, or if you want to provide the data earlier, I'd like to know what it will cost us to put in the baseball and softball fields for our new high school. What's the time frame, and how much will it cost us? Because those are still missing, right?
They're
I
not
will-
missing, ma'am. We've cleared the land for those areas, but you're absolutely correct. To be able to use them in the future, we're going to have to subgrade the area, which is take it from a slope to making it even. So.
Can you come back and, as we're working on our budget process, give us some ideas of, because we want those kids at the third high school to have the same opportunities. So I know baseball and softball, I dare not even ask the cost of the black box in the auditorium. I didn't ask.
Point of clarification, are we looking for them to be able to practice on the field, or are we looking for it to be a full competition level state for softball and baseball?
Looking for them at least to be able to practice.
Understood. Will do. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Mr. Foyle, second time.
Here we go again. Gonna have two stepsisters now. We're gonna have the new high school and Wagner. But Judson gets anything they want. It's supposed to be an even playing field, gentlemen, ladies. That is not an even playing field, and it's not your fault. This goes way back. I've preached the same thing at many a board meetings. They're supposed to be even, equal. It is not equal. Judson will always be the big school, and the other schools all be the little. I used to call them something else, but somebody told me not to do that anymore. Bastard Childs.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Montoya.
Mr. Salyer, again, members of the board, there's I believe, Ms. Reyna, there's a brief presentation, a video on the state of the foundation presented by the Judson Education Foundation.
Yes. Good evening again, everyone. First, I'd like to recognize some of our phenomenal board of directors that are part of the Education Foundation. Our amazing leader, Mayor Al Suarez, he's our president of the foundation. And an amazing man in uniform, Mr. Wayne Harper, is one of our board of directors. And one of our loudest, proudest, and most passionate directors, and he's our board liaison, Mr. Richard LaFoyle. As the executive director of the Education Foundation, 2014 has been an amazing year for us. I've been with the foundation nearly 6 years, and this was the first time that we have hit phenomenal numbers of fundraising and giving that we were able to do within our schools. We had many qualified applicants that applied for teacher grants this past year, and every single one of them received the money that they asked for. We also had some strong applications from students, so we also gave out money for that, and it added up to, in total, about $70,000 for 2014 we gave out. And as Mr. Macias, wherever he went, mentioned, our foundation is growing just as much as our school is. These are exactly the amount of money we should be giving out and more every single year. Our board was just, adamant about let's do as much as we can for our students, let's do as much as we can for our staff, and it really shows in all of the grants that we gave out, all the scholarships we gave out. We're actually going to be adding in our next agenda and every agenda thereafter for our foundation what's called a mission moment. And it's to actually have our teachers come in, talk about their grants, tell us how they're working in the classroom, the students' responses, the parents' responses. That's going to be part of what we do for our agenda at every single meeting when we can get one of our teachers to come out and share with us what they've been doing. So please look at your screens, the large screen for everyone, but the smaller screens for the board, and enjoy the video we've put together.
The Judson Education Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that seeks financial support from the community and corporate donors to provide and sustain district-wide opportunities for educational excellence in Judson ISD. In 2014, we celebrated our 15-year anniversary. JEF has hosted fundraising events to raise money for innovative teacher grants and student scholarships. Here's a glimpse of our accomplishments. 2014, JEF funded 19 innovative teacher grants totaling $36,818 and 12 scholarships totaling $30,000. Whether it's time, money, or an in-kind donation, the success of our foundation depends on the generosity of our community and corporate partners. Here is a list of our top 10 corporate sponsors in 2014. JEF Board of Directors have dedicated 847 volunteer hours this past year. With your support, the Judson Education Foundation is able to enrich teaching, inspire learning, and provide opportunities for excellence in education for all students in the Judson Independent School District.
And lastly, on behalf of the Judson Education Foundation, we'd like to thank the Board of Trustees for their continued support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Flores?
Ms. Rayner, I want to congratulate you on how far you've taken us. I remember when you first came to work for us 6 years ago, and I gathered some invitations to the Northside Foundation Gala, and you took those ideas and you've really taken us to another level. And I appreciate that, and I know you're going to take us further. I mean, we've come a long way. I appreciate all the work you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Rainey.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Let's do 6D, discuss election protocol. Mr. Macias? Go ahead. Your item, 6D, discuss election protocol.
I thought we had pulled this
Oh, you
one.
wanna
My
pull it? Okay,
apologies.
that's
I
cool.
think you had
Okay.
mentioned it would be addressed, and so
Okay.
we'll talk about it a little further if necessary. But yeah, I
Okay.
pulled this.
Well, let's go, everybody ready to go closed session, and we'll come back and finish up. Is that okay? Yeah. Huh? We'll do 6C. You want to do 6C? Okay, 6C, discuss employment insurance and benefits program. I thought that was pulled, Mr. Adair. You want to do 6B? That was pulled.
Yeah, that's
That was
been
all
pulled.
pulled.
Yeah.
No, except F, G, and H, and we'll do those when we come back. Is that okay? This board will now adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following section of the Texas Open Meeting Act. Section 7, close. A, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, discussing personnel. B, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, consider and discuss posting a position employment of Associate Superintendent Curriculum Instruction. C, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 55.071, attorney consultation regarding legal issues. 8, consider and take possible action regarding items discussed in closed session. We'll do those when we come out. Consider and take possible action regarding personnel. Pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.07, consider discussion of proposed non-renewal term contracts. We are going into closed session at 8:10. Thank you.